like rumours of him retiring. He's putting stuff out on the media saying that he's retiring. Because MMA, especially at an elite level, is there's not many people, like you hear rumours a lot. So I heard rumours from people close to him that he's going to retire and that he's not living like an athlete who's fighting at the top level anymore, and that he's not interested and he's not in the gym and etc. But I knew that there was going to be a decision made by the UFC coming soon, whether he's going to continue. And we got it last night for sure. We finally got it confirmed last night. So I am very happy to get this part of my career behind me in the rearview mirror now.
But how did you feel? Because I think from the conversation we had, which we're going to play in a second, it was clear to me that you wanted to have Jon Jones on your record. You wanted to fight him.
What I really want is the undisputed title. That's really what I was chasing the whole time. I was never really chasing one guy. Jon Jones was always just a bonus because of the stuff, because of the resume that he's got and because of the name that he has and the status that he holds within the sport. Like, he's so well respected. I think that would have been a great scalp for me to have as just a fighter here. If it was so public, for me personally, I don't know if my ego could take it, having not done it. But that's honestly, that's his prerogative. I don't hold any ill will against him for it. And I'm happy to move on with my career now that it's over, because you got to remember, I've not fought for nearly a year now because of this.
Tom Aspinall has finally broken his silence on Jon Jones' retirement. What he had to say might catch you off guard. In a candid and revealing appearance on the Diary of a CEO podcast with Stephen Bartlett, Tom didn't hold back. He spoke openly about the entire Jon Jones situation, sharing his unfiltered thoughts on what this means for the heavyweight division and his own career moving forward.
And I've been healthy the whole time. I've been in the gym the whole time. I've been doing exactly what I'm supposed to do as a high-level operating athlete at the elite level. So I'm glad that that is behind us now.
Do you, in part, I guess, take this as a bit of a compliment that there was such huge public pressure for him to fight you, and actually the route that he chose was to retire instead of fighting you? I mean, that's quite a compliment for someone of Jon Jones' stature.
I try not to let my ego take control of me. I could see why people would think that. But to me, it's just like, maybe when I've retired, when I've retired myself, which is not going to happen in the next couple of years at least, I'll think about that kind of stuff. But for right now, it's just like, we've got to focus on another fight. We've got to get me active. We've got to get me back out there and doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
While Tom showed respect for Jon Jones' choice to walk away from the sport, he didn't hide the sense of relief that came with it. For months, he had been stuck in a frustrating waiting game, preparing, staying ready, and holding on to the hope that a fight with Jones would happen. But as time dragged on, it became clear that the matchup was slipping away. Now, with that door finally closed, Tom says he feels a sense of freedom he hasn't had in a long time.
Because right now I've been thinking about that whole situation and being held up and frustrated for almost a year. And it's what I love doing. I've been held back for the whole time, and it's not been very fun, to be honest with you. So the ego side of my brain is like, yeah, I've kind of beaten without fighting him. And I did say that. I've said that the whole time, that I'm going to retire him without fighting him. But I don't kind of want to harp on about that, really. I want to kind of just put that behind me and move forward on my own path now.
I hear you. And, Jon Jones is an unpredictable individual. So there's still a possibility that retirement wasn't a legit retirement and that he might get a bit bored and end up, deciding that he wants to come back and fight you. Is that something that you would consider if that were to happen?
I'm sure with where he's at, he can jump the queue anytime he wants. So, this time a year down the line, we'll have another 3 or 4 contenders knocking on for a title shot, I'm sure. But anytime someone like him wants to step up and say, listen, I want to fight again, they're going to get an immediate title shot. So I'm never going to count that out. And I'm sure that maybe I'm in a spot in my career where there's not all that much footage out there on me. Maybe he sees something on me in the next few fights and he thinks, you know what, I can beat this guy. I'm going to come back and beat him. So mentally, I'm never counting that out. I think the fight is it could always pop back up and come back around on me. So that's something that I would obviously accept. But as I said before, I think a lot of people get it confused over the last kind of 10 months-ish, is that I was chasing Jon Jones. That was never the case. I was chasing the undisputed heavyweight title. That's it. So if I do get the opportunity to put Jon Jones on my resume, of course I'll accept that with open arms. But if not, I'm content. I'll move forward and I'll create my own legacy without him.
No more guesswork. No more interim titles. No more delays holding the division hostage. With Jon Jones officially out of the equation, Aspinall is stepping forward with full confidence, ready to carry the torch as the undisputed heavyweight champion.
She's D's.
Leaving the past behind and embracing the future head-on. Behind the scenes, Tom has been pushing himself harder than ever, adopting the mindset of a true champion and staying prepared for whoever the UFC lines up next. Whether it's a showdown with Cyril Gane in Paris, a rematch with Volkov, or facing a rising contender in the ranks, Aspinall is focused on staying active, defending his title, and injecting new energy into the heavyweight division.
And Jon had been telling us for quite some time, I already told the UFC my plans. I'm not sure why they haven't done anything with it. But it seems as though as he continued to try and hint at what his plans were, the UFC felt like their hand was forced and they had to put it out there. Because at this point, what are we waiting for? Now, Tom Aspinall is coming to Las Vegas this week. He will be there back end of the week. He was told that a decision would be made by International Fight Week. Why I think this is ludicrous that it all went down like this was, we had waited so long for the resolution to this issue. Could they have not done something in Las Vegas in front of all the fans before the press conference, after the press conference, before the weigh-ins, after the weigh-ins, in the middle of the card on Saturday, before the fight, after the fight, presenting Tom with the belt, saying, you are the man, this is the glamour division, you are the baddest man on the planet, you're the heavyweight champion, you've done it all right, everything we've asked of you. Why not do it like that? He's literally going to be there in a couple of days. Where every media member, every fan is going to be there. You do it like this? In a throwaway, midway through a press conference in Baku, Azerbaijan, in the middle of the night over there, when no one's paying attention, you do it like that? What is that?
When you're an interim champion, they only make an interim champion when the champion cannot defend the belt. So for Jon Jones, he couldn't defend the belt because he tore his pec muscle. So the interim champion means he should be fighting the champion right off the bat. That's not the case with Jon Jones, right? Because Jon Jones is going to fight Stipe Miocic. So the interim champion is supposed to sit there and wait. But by law, in like the regulations, once Jon Jones steps in the cage, he is stripped of his interim champion because the champion has returned. There is no longer for interim champion. What is the point of having an interim champion when the champion is ready to fight?
This is the only sport in the world you can have somebody hold your career back.
Yep. I've been almost a year inactive with no prospects of anything. Just be ready, and we'll just let you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of difficult, like mentally, to.
Oh yeah.
This is the fight against Jon Jones. Like, not the fight is another thing.
Yeah.
This is the tricky bit where I really have to stay switched on, stay motivated, and. I'm trying my best. I'm trying. It's tough. As you said a minute ago, no one really knows what's going on behind the scenes apart from me.
Exactly. You're in office cooking.
I train all the time anyway. Just because I've not got a fight doesn't mean I don't train. Like, I honestly can see Jon's point of view. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. It's just about the title for me.
Yep.
I just want the title. That's it.
Yep.
Does nothing else really matters. So
you're like, let me do my thing. Let me fight.
I just want to fight.
And I think that's the respectful way to go about it. It's like, you don't care if it's Jon, and it's no disrespect to Jon. It's no disrespect to anybody out there. You're just trying to fight. Yep. I just want to fight.
Yep.
Nah, man. Jon's retired. What are we talking about, guys? This is. Jon, you guys don't follow Jon on social media?
I don't follow him on social media. He said that.
No, me too, actually. Me too. But the guy is living his best life. He's had a fantastic career. We all know. We know Jon's a religious man, so I want to say God bless him moving forward in what he does with his life and his career. And we move on. We move on. I'm the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. I'm ready to take on all comers, get this division moving again. Us guys have been waiting around too long. You know, the contenders are getting sick of it. Everybody's getting sick of it. Even the fans are getting sick of this stuff. So Jon's retired and it's time that we move on.
Retired Jon Jones. Just as he predicted, Tom Aspinall, over a year ago, I think, said, I will retire this man without even having to fight him. He's never going to fight me. And despite all the umming and ahhing and all the fucking pretending that he was going to actually ever get in the cage with Tom Aspinall, Jon Jones has done what we always knew he was going to do. He's tucked tail and ran. Imagine calling yourself a goat and yet behaving like such a duck. I mean, this is like back in the playground. Jon Jones has got a bike. Tom Aspinall's come over and goes, give us your bike now. What you have to do then is fight. You have to defend what your shit is and say, no, you're not going to take this. And do you know what Jon Jones did? You have it. I don't want to fight. You can have it. This is unbelievable. The greatest of all time. What a load of shit. I'm sorry. Never going to call that him the GOAT ever again. Because being the greatest of all time is not just about winning. And that's what Jon Jones doesn't understand. It's about how you conduct yourself throughout the whole of your career. Are you willing to fight the biggest challenges, the biggest tests, go in there and test yourself against everyone? And Jon Jones proved, without a shadow of a doubt, his biggest test, stepped up and he bottled it well and truly. Remember this clip from like over a year ago when Jon actually met Tom in person?
Respect, man.
All the best.
Respect.
All the best.
Do a quick picture.
Sure.
Yeah?
Let's get it.
A face off. No, okay.
He wouldn't even face off with Tom Aspinall, let alone get in a cage with him. And after all of the fannying around and waiting for Jon Jones to man up and strap his balls on and defend his heavyweight title, because you've never really earned it. You beat a guy who wasn't even the champion. You beat Stipe. Oh my God, what a farce that fight was. That will go down as the most pointless, pathetic fight I can imagine in a world title.
Truly stood out was Tom Aspinall's humility and maturity throughout the entire situation. Despite the setbacks and lost opportunities, he didn't lash out. Instead, he gave Jon Jones his due, calling him one of the greatest fighters in MMA history. Tom even admitted that Jones stepping away at the top was likely the best move for his health, his legacy, perhaps even the sport itself. But not everyone shares that calm perspective. Plenty of fans and fighters voiced their frustration over how the UFC handled the situation, especially when it came to crowning Tom as the new heavyweight champion. According to Tom's father, Andy Aspinall, the announcement was handled with shocking carelessness. He revealed that Tom didn't even get the news from Dana White himself. Instead, it came through a casual late-night text from UFC executive Hunter Campbell. Andy didn't hold back, saying during a press conference that he couldn't imagine a worse way to break such monumental news. As someone who's been by Tom's side every step of the way, he was clearly disappointed. To him, the moment felt rushed, impersonal, and poorly thought out. The heavyweight title isn't just another belt, it's a career-defining achievement. And for Tom to find out in such an offhanded way felt like a massive sign of disrespect. Many fans agree, this wasn't just about passing on a title. It was the result of years of blood, sweat, and sacrifice. A quiet 3 a.m. message simply wasn't enough to honor that journey.
I get a text from GC in the group chat saying, is this Jon Jones news real? Quickly go on Twitter, see Dana White is holding court. Post-fight press conference in Baku, Azerbaijan, shout out. And he announces to the world that Jon Jones has retired. That not only has Jon Jones retired, he has also vacated his title. And as a result, Tom Aspinall is the new UFC heavyweight champion. No longer the interim champion, he's the heavyweight champion. Something that should have happened 2 years ago when he beat Sergey Pavlovich at Madison Square Garden. Because that's really how this should have been handled from the beginning. Should have been handled. Jon Jones couldn't fight November of 2023. They call Tom Aspinall to save the day. He fights on 2 weeks' notice against Sergey Pavlovich. He knocks him out in a couple of minutes. He should have been the champion on that night. He should be approaching the 2-year anniversary of his reign. He beat Curtis Blades in July. Probably should have fought once already this year, maybe even this coming weekend.
What's up, everybody? Breaking news. So you came to the right place. ESPN MMA YouTube channel, myself. We got DC on the line to talk to his best friend, his former rival, Jon Jones, officially retiring from the sport of mixed martial arts. We knew, DC, that this had been part of the conversation. We were hoping it wasn't going to be the conversation just yet. I mean, I selfishly was hoping for a fight between he and Tom Aspinall. I don't think I'm the only one. In fact, I know the whole world was kind of hoping for that. In the end, he is not fighting Tom Aspinall. He is retiring from the sport of mixed martial arts, announced by Dana White on Saturday. Your initial thoughts to the announcement that Jon Jones is officially retired from mixed martial arts?
So my first thought, it was like, he actually did it. He actually did it. You know, like, I didn't think that he would walk away. I didn't know that, you know, he would allow for or would be able to handle what comes with making this decision right now and the optics of it, Brett. Do you understand what I'm saying? What it looks like to people. I didn't know that his ego would be able to handle walking away. I figured he would fight based on that. But he didn't. And it's crazy. I said something the other day, Brett, and I don't want this to be like me crapping on Jon Jones, but I said something on my YouTube channel. I said, if Jon Jones doesn't fight this guy, he quit, right? He quit.
Many believe the UFC sided with Jon Jones for far too long, postponing crucial decisions and leaving the heavyweight division stuck in limbo. What should have been a time of momentum and clarity turned into months of uncertainty. Some argue that Tom Aspinall should have been officially recognized as the undisputed champion long ago. Others feel that Jon Jones should have been stripped of the title much earlier, especially with no clear return in sight. The delay didn't just affect Tom, it stalled an entire division hungry for movement.
Like, surely we can't be that apathetic about the product. Surely we can't care that little about the state of things. This is the heavyweight championship of the world. That's how you announce that Tom Aspinall is the king? That's how you announce that Jon Jones is retired? That's massive news. When Michael Jordan, the GOAT of his sport, retired, there was a huge press conference. And every single media member under the sun was there. Jon Jones's retirement is a throwaway, midway question in a press conference in the middle of the night in Baku, Azerbaijan. Does anyone else not see the lunacy in all of this? It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. And so I was trying to figure out, why didn't they just wait? Why didn't they just wait? Why didn't they do something in Vegas, a presentation, a ceremony, something to make this feel big, special, to wash away the annoying nature of the past 7 or so months as we are constantly told it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I guarantee it's going to happen. Up until recently, a couple of weeks ago to Jim Rome, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And then 30 or so minutes after the press conference, the Albuquerque Journal drops a massive piece of news. The Albuquerque Journal, which has been covering Jon Jones for quite some time, and a reporter named Jeff Grammer, who we've had on the program before to talk about Holly Holm, been covering Jon, has been covering the Albuquerque fighters like Holly, like Michelle Watterson, all the Jackson Wing fighters. They drop this news. Literally minutes after the announcement. Jon Jones, the often battled Albuquerque resident, considered by many to be the greatest mixed martial artist of all time, shocked the combat sports world Saturday when UFC President Dana White announced the fighter had retired. But the news didn't come before one more legal matter arose, one White did not reference in his Saturday afternoon announcement of Jones' retirement. The Journal has learned a criminal summons accusing Jones, 37, of a misdemeanor charge of leaving the scene of an accident in February was filed Tuesday in Metropolitan Court. I'm reading this now and I'm like, is this a story from like 9 years ago, 10 years, 11 years ago, when he left the scene of a hit and run? Because it's eerily similar. Jones has been called to appear for a bond arraignment on July 24th in Metro Court.
Jon accepted the fight, went to Thailand, came back, didn't want the fight. What happened?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Thailand was the end of it. You know, we were talking about it before that. But yeah, the fight was done. We had the fight done a long time ago. So why he decided not to fight, you guys will have to ask him that.
Is it accurate? There's a lot of reports about figures he was offered. Is it fair to say he was offered a lot of money to take this fight?
Yeah. Listen, he was offered what he deserves for that fight. Yeah.
I'll just come out and ask you. Do you think he's ducking Tom Aspinall?
No. Jon Jones I said it a million times. I'll say it again. He's never ducked anybody other than that one goofy time with the Chael Sonnen thing. He's never ducked anybody. And, I think the reality is whatever changed his mind with this fight, I don't know. You'd have to ask him that. But, he's 38 years old and I don't know.
Do you think if it was someone like Alex Pereira, he would fight them? And it's maybe Tom that he specifically doesn't fancy the matchup, doesn't fancy the age difference?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to these questions. Only he does. We had the fight done. Listen, our job is to make the biggest fights we can make and the fights that the fans want to see. And that's what we try to do. But the minute somebody starts talking about retirement, my philosophy on that, you should do it.
Did you know about the stuff that came out of Albuquerque last night?
I saw it today. When I saw it today, I said, "Oh, everybody's gonna think this is why he retired. Maybe that is why he retired. Who the hell knows, man?" But I don't know. These are all questions you got to ask him. We had the fight done. You saw me talking about it very confidently that this fight was going to happen, and then he changed his mind.
Jon Jones. This is complicated. This is a lot more complicated than you might think. Let's start with this. One thing that Jon is going to find, and I assure you it will surprise him, is he's going to have naysayers like some of you, like me, like Daniel Cormier. He will have naysayers that are going to praise him. And he's going to look around and go, why are those guys praising me? And it's a very simple concept with artists, which is they become more valuable in death. Now, this is the death of a career, but it's still a death. And what Jon is going to come to find is naysayers, like some of you, like Daniel Cormier, like me, poked the bear in part because we enjoyed watching him that much. We poked the bear as a way of getting him into the ring so that we could watch him do his craft. That's part of being a fan. And it's a part that Jon never understood. But why would you try to talk him out of it? If you're one of his coaches or his brothers with all the success they have, if you're even one of his parents, why would you try to talk him out of that? He's found some kind of a formula. He's having resounding success. You gotta let it go. And I've heard so many different interviews that Jon has done over the years. And one thing about Jon's approach to a fight, we really saw this in the Stipe fight that you guys might even remember. But Jon needs to be the victim. It needs to be him against the world, and he's here to save the world.
And many fans agree it was unfair how long Tom had to wait before he could truly begin his reign as champion. But now, his message couldn't be clearer. He's done chasing. He's done waiting. This next chapter isn't about chasing legends or clinging to what could have been. It's about carving out his own legacy. And Tom Aspinall is ready to do just that, one fight at a time.